Hello traders, and welcome to another chapter of Trading the Trend with Strong Week Analysis. This is Dennis, and I wanted to do you a little educational video on what is a strong week analysis and how I create my own strong week rankings. And let me tell you before we get started, it's about to storm here, lots of thunder and lightning outside, and my dogs like to bark at the thunder and lightning. So if you hear a bunch of noises, that's what that is. Let's get started. Strong week analysis is something I never heard of until about 3.5 years ago when I was introduced to the concept by Richard Crevo. That's Richard there. He at the time was an instructor for Daily FX Education, and he had a process where he would compare all 28 currencies, the 28 pairs that make up the 8 majors, and he would come up with a ranking where he would have the strongest down to the weakest, and he would publish that. And that just kind of blew my mind away when I learned that, because before I was just like all over the ballpark with my trading. I was getting nowhere, and until he introduced me to this, then suddenly I was focused on trading the strongest, matching it to the weakest, and I was making money. But it was a little tedious, his way of coming up with his strong week ranking. So I tweaked it a bit and came up with my own formula, which made it a little simpler for myself. And let me share that with you. Now here is where I get my information when I do my strong week rankings. I'm not looking at charts. I'm just simply taking the daily close and the current 200 moving average off of the 4-hour chart, and I'm doing that with the 7 yen pairs. The yen is always ranked last against any pair, so the yen makes a natural common denominator for all the other currencies. And I'll take that information off of this page that you're looking at right here, and I'll put it on this simple little spreadsheet here, where I'll put the price. And of course these are all connected with the yen. I'll put the price, the 4-hour moving average, 200 moving average, and that gives me a percentage over here. And the simple formula on my Excel spreadsheet is right there, and what it's doing, it's taking price minus the 4-hour 200 moving average divided again by price, and that gives us a percentage. And that gives us a rank, and that's how I get my rank order of what's strong and what's weak. And once I have that information, it then goes to another page on my Excel spreadsheet, and this is where I keep track of. I have this going back for about 3 years. I've been tracking this, and this is our current strong week, and I can tell how long the U.S. dollar's been strong, how long the pound's been strong, and I can go back and look at history, and if something's been strong for a long time, it tends to stay strong. And you want to stick with those strong currencies. And you can also see tendencies. If a currency tends to go to number 1 and then fall back to number 8, which the yen had been doing quite a bit last year, then you'll know to avoid those when you see a currency like that get to be number 1. Now, one thing I can do with this information is I know exactly how strong every single currency is in relation to the other just by looking at this. We're looking at the U.S. and the pound. That's very close together right now. There's very little difference in the two. The dollar is just slightly stronger than the pound. So if we were to look at the pound-dollar chart, we would see that its price is going to be slightly below on the 4-hour chart, slightly below the 200 moving average. And there's the chart, and there you have it. Price is just slightly below the 200 moving average. You can see it's not been moving. It's been going sideways for quite some time. So this is why when we see two strong currencies, they're not something you normally would want to be trading. price just isn't going to be moving. You're just going to be sitting there holding it and with nothing happening. Now, if we were to look at a truly strong currency with a weak one, which is what you have in the Aussie US dollar, dollar is the strongest currency right now, and Aussie's the weakest. You can see prices way down here, and you got to go all the way up here, and you can just barely see a little piece of the 4-hour chart 200 moving average. There's probably about 250 pips between this line and where price currently is. Now, this is a very weak currency as far as a trend, and this is the type of currency I'm looking to trade. You know, it's got a nice stepping pattern. It's got lots of pullbacks, lots of places to get in at, and it just keeps making new lows after making a lower high. So that is pretty much it in the nutshell, how I figure my strong weak analysis and how I come up with my strong weak rankings. I hope this explains it. If anyone has any other questions on how I go about this process or ways of using it, please leave a comment below and I'll try to answer. Thank you.